Horizon Forbidden West melee combat finally received some incredible enhancements in the latest Burning Shores expansion to help make it a more viable playstyle. The base game system already had some incredible depth, nuance, and animation work, yet it relied heavily on being used in junction with the other game's playstyles. That still may be the case here in Burning Shores, but Guerrilla Games managed to take a step in the right direction to making melee its own independent playstyle. In this video, I will be talking about how Burning Shores improves upon the base game's melee system, covering the new melee skills, outfits, weapons, coils, and Valor surges. If you haven't already, consider checking out my previous melee breakdown video, which goes over the basics of the system and why I love it so much. All footage and tests for this video were captured on version 1.024 on very hard. But with all of that out of the way, my name is Atano, and these are all the ways Burning Shores improved Horizon's melee combat. Probably the biggest enhancement made to melee would be the new elemental spear skill. When unlocked, you gain the ability to attach elemental canisters to your spear, which are then imbued into your melee attacks, meaning you can ditch the elemental ranged weapons for most combat situations. The available elements include fire, frost, shock, plasma, acid, and purge water, meaning adhesive and berserk sadly missed the cut. Canisters can be crafted and equipped via the hunter's kit using your D-pad, plus are extremely inexpensive. An icon will appear underneath your health, indicating the canister you currently have equipped, as well as the time it has until depleted. However, you do not need to wait for your canister to be fully depleted before you can equip another one, making the ability extremely versatile. Attaching a canister will not interrupt Aloy's sprint animation, but it cannot be attached while sliding, jumping, or dodging. Plus, depending on the element you have equipped, the sound that resonates from your spear will slightly change when swung to match that respective element, as well as produce elemental particle effects around each swing. These are nice little touches added in by Guerrilla that now make using your spear much more special and unique. Without any special outfit perks or coils, an equipped canister will be imbued into your spear with its respective element for 25 seconds. Each elemental state works identical on your spear as to how it would when used by your ranged weapons, but unlike other weapons in the game, your spear still cannot be enhanced with weapon coils of any type. So the only way to increase your spear's elemental buildup or severity is by equipping the elemental spear weave or the elite elements weave on an outfit. An even better option is to rock the new fully upgraded Quen commander outfit, which has an exclusive elemental spear perk. This elemental spear perk will also increase a canister's active time from the base 25 seconds now up to 40 seconds. Light attacks, heavy attacks, power attacks, and even melee combos will all produce different amounts of elemental buildup. Light attacks provide the least, while power attacks the most. Grounded heavy attacks and aerial heavy attacks both have different buildup numbers, with the aerial heavy inflicting double the amount of buildup as well as dealing increased damage. You should try to use the aerial heavy with the half moon / cancel combo to very quickly build up to an elemental state. Furthermore, resonators attached to an enemy while you have an active elemental canister equipped become imbued with that element as well, and when triggered provide the second highest amount of elemental buildup possible. It's important to note that as long as the resonator is attached while you have an active canister on your spear, it will retain its elemental properties even after that canister becomes depleted. One thing I wish Guerrilla would have implemented, however, is different colored resonators to match the respective element they are imbued with. These are some concepts I created to show what this could potentially look like, and I think it would be a pretty cool idea if we got something like this in a future installment. Critical and silent strikes are unique in that they will apply the largest amount of elemental buildup by creating a timed elemental trigger similar to when you're hitting an elemental canister, but with the inability to affect surrounding enemies. The brand new Grapple Strike ability acts in the same manner, yet adds an elemental resonator if you correctly complete the QuickTime event when prompted. If you'd like more info on the exact elemental buildup numbers and damage numbers for every melee attack and combo, check the link in the description for a spreadsheet created by Paris, who is a member over on my Discord, and thank you very much to Paris for providing that info for everyone. Now to expand a bit on the Grapple Strike ability. Once unlocked, it can be performed by double tapping X when in range of an immobilized machine. Machines can be immobilized from the shock status or the knockdown effect, which can often be triggered from your power attacks. The tied down state from rope casters can also be applicable and provide the longest immobilization period. If you haven't noticed yet, the Grapple Strike actually has two unique attack animations, which I like to call the backflip and kickoff variants. You can trigger one or the other based on your distance and height positioning to the machine's grapple point. The kickoff occurs when close to or above the grapple point, while the backflip occurs when distant to or below the grapple point. Furthermore, the Grapple Strike has 3 different ranges for damage, all dependent on how well you complete the Quick Time event. The base Grapple Strike occurs if you miss the Quick Time event entirely, only dealing the same base damage as a critical strike. You get the enhanced Grapple Strike if you complete the Quick Time event in the outer ring, now dealing the base Grapple Strike damage with a 0.25 multiplier. And lastly, you get the perfect Grapple Strike if you complete the Quick Time event in the inner blue ring, dealing the same damage as an enhanced Grapple Strike, but also attaching a resonator, which you can then trigger. And something definitely worth mentioning is that if you perform a perfect Grapple Strike with full spear energy, your spear will not lose its charge from attaching the resonator, as the Grapple Strike resonator works independently from the charge level of your spear, which you can see demonstrated here. Now onto the topic of melee outfits and weaves. It's important to select the proper loadout to increase the lethalness of your melee damage, and the best way to do that in the base game was by using the Oseram Artificer outfit. This outfit features great melee and impact damage resistances with perks that enhance almost every aspect of the melee playstyle, from increased power attack damage and improved resonator buildup. Now in Burning Shores, we have the all-new Quen Commander outfit. I love this outfit's design, especially with the Imperial Gold outfit dye. Its elemental resistances are practically the same as the Artificer, with the exception of now being weak to fire instead of frost. It also replaces both the Power Attack Plus and Valor Surge Master perks with the Evader perk and all-new Elemental Spear perk. The loss of the Power Attack Plus perk might be noticeable in moment-to-moment combat, but I think the Elemental Spear Plus perk makes up for this by increasing elemental buildup on your spear by 2 levels. Burning Shores also adds new elite coils, which provide multiple bonuses per coil while only taking up a single coil slot. For the melee playstyle, I'd recommend looking at these 3 coils: Elite Melee, Elite Low Health Melee, and Elite Weapon Techniques. You should have the Elite Melee coil equipped at all times on either the Artificer or Commander outfits. It boosts melee resistance by 20% along with critical strike and melee damage by 2 levels. For your second weave, you can run Elite Low Health Melee to boost defense and melee damage when below 40% health. This weave, however, does not increase critical or grapple strike damage, so keep this in mind. But if you prefer avoiding the low health playstyle altogether, you can run the Elite Weapon Techniques instead to increase weapon stamina and stamina regen. I personally prefer running the Elite Weapon Techniques, as I use the Melee Detonator and Knockdown Shot weapon techniques very often. The Melee Detonator technique on the Warrior Bow attaches a detonator to an enemy, which then explodes on a successful melee hit. You can attach a few of these to a single machine and deal some solid damage from just a single melee hit. The Knockdown Shot technique on the Hunter Bow can stagger most enemies during their attacks and sometimes even trigger the knockdown status, which can lead into a Grapple Strike. I feel like this technique goes a bit unnoticed since it's bunched in with Triple Notch, but definitely give this one a try next time you're playing around with melee. Next is new weapons, and there are 2 I want to touch on. The tie that binds Rope Caster has incredible advanced binding ropes to immobilize a couple machines in a herd, letting you focus on getting some awesome melee combos in against a single machine. After getting some cool combos in, you can easily utilize this immobilization period for chaining together grapple strikes, making for some stylish and highly rewarding action. Plus, if you have unlocked the new Rope Caster Expert skill, you can very easily re-tie down a machine after each grapple strike to perform yet another. And maybe you're wondering to yourself, will my melee attacks detonate the explosive canisters on this Rope Caster? The short answer is yes, they will, but don't expect to survive the blast. Next, the Emperor's Reign Hunter Bow has a 25% close range damage and a 40% melee follow-up damage perk, making it a suitable choice for melee focused combat. You can then run some additional 25% melee follow-up and close range damage coils, along with the Elite Overdraw coil to boost overdraw damage as well as your draw speed. The bonus draw speed makes a huge difference for reaching the overdraw state quicker, especially when aiming directly after a successful melee hit. With this loadout here, I was able to get a 170% damage increase when every condition was met. But still, my personal favorite bow for melee focused combat is the Carja's Bane warrior bow. You get a faster fire rate with extremely inexpensive ammo at the cost of range and total damage output. The reduced range is not an issue in close quarters melee combat, and you can still boost its damage once again with additional melee follow-up coils. You should definitely equip the new Elite Fire coil, which has a 5% instant burning chance that applies to both ammo types present on this bow. It also increases the bow's damage against burning enemies by an additional 18%. With this loadout here, I was able to get a 183% damage increase when every condition was met. And one thing to mention is that critical and grapple strikes do not activate any melee follow-up bonuses, so make sure you're using other melee attacks to receive this follow-up damage. Last and certainly not least are Valor Surges, and we're given one new Valor Surge for the Warrior's skill tree. When fully upgraded, the Warrior's Vigor boosts spear and warrior bow damage by 100% while also providing 10% health gain per hit from these weapon types. But the real perk of this Valor Surge will be the ability to regain 50% of your maximum health when triggering a resonator with your warrior bow. If you aren't using the low health melee weaves, then this could be a great option for you, as the damage buff is noticeable and the health back on hit increases your survivability in close quarters combat. In my opinion, however, I still think the Melee Might Valor Surge is a better choice with its 300% melee damage increase, especially for taking on larger machines with higher health pools. Plus, it gives you unlimited spear energy for continuous resonator attachments, and its additional knockdown power on power attacks really helps out in the heat of a fight. The damage increase, however, does not apply to critical or grapple strikes, so if you want to buff those, go with the Critical Boost Valor Surge to boost their damage by 150%. Tying down a group of machines, then chaining together multiple grapple strikes with this Valor Surge active can make very quick work of small and even medium-sized machines. When fully upgraded, the Elemental Fury Valor Surge is another solid choice to pair with the Elemental Spear ability and make status buildups noticeably faster. The Elemental Explosion caused from triggering an elemental state is where it shines, especially when paired with Shock. My only gripe with this Valor Surge, however, is it doesn't last very long, expiring soon before your elemental canister is even depleted, so you might be better off with one of the previously mentioned Valor Surges. Guerrilla Games have managed to build upon and improve Horizon Forbidden West's dense melee combat system here in Burning Shores. From the polished animation work of the Grapple Strike to the refreshing flexibility of the Elemental Spear, Horizon's melee combat feels better than it ever did, and I'm certainly excited to find out what's next for it in the future installment of the Horizon franchise. That's going to be a wrap here on this video, and my hope is that you learned at least one new thing about Horizon's melee combat. If you did, a like down below would be much appreciated, and if you want to see more Horizon content in the near future, definitely consider subscribing as well. And lastly, as always, thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you all in the next one.